had breakfast accompanied by Xiaoyudi, and then proceeded to attend his classes. With the final exams approaching next week, it was essential to plan ahead. The gifts for the specialized course instructors had already been arranged by Su Tang. He felt no worry regarding his major subjects, but the public and elective courses were a different story. Chen Xiao intended to coordinate with his classmates before the exams to ensure everything went smoothly. Upon checking the stock price of Lan Cheng Group, he was not surprised to find it had reached its daily limit. Moreover, it was expected to continue this upward trend until the end of the month, signifying that he could amass considerable profits without lifting a finger. He spent the morning in casual chatter, but as soon as class ended, he noticed Tan Sheng waiting at the door. All eyes were fixed on Chen Xiao. Wow, Brother Xiao, you're amazing. What happened yesterday? Did you win over the goddess? Chen Xiao felt speechless. Cough. Don't spread nonsense. You tarnish my reputation. I'll go see what's up. The crowd responded, shameless. You still claim to be innocent when you'd welcome the insult. Chen Xiao stepped out of the classroom and asked, Are you looking for me? Tan Sheng nodded. Could I treat you to lunch? Treat me? Why? He inquired. She smiled. No particular reason. I simply want to invite you. All right, let us go then. As they turned to leave the classroom, a chorus of hissing sounds erupted behind them. Tan Sheng felt a bit shy, lowering her head as they walked ahead. The mountain cat observed the boss leave class and promptly trailed behind from a distance. What shall we eat? Chen Xiao asked. There's a Western restaurant on the commercial street. Let us go there. Chen Xiao preferred Chinese cuisine, but since it was Tan Cheng's first time treating, he refrained from being too picky. Fine, I'll go with your choice. Upon arriving at the second floor of the Western restaurant, they found it nearly empty, with only a few tables occupied by students from the International Exchange Institute. Chen Xiao and Tan Cheng settled into a secluded corner, ordered several dishes, and began to chat as they ate. Chen Xiao, about last night, Tan Cheng hesitated, wanting to ask if he had his friends help him out. Chen Xiao feigned ignorance. Oh, last night, a few friends came to see the concert, and I accompanied them. Oh, Tan Cheng continued. Do you have many friends? Chen Xiao nodded, yes. I met several bosses while working during the holidays. They wanted to visit the school and asked me to accompany them. Tan Cheng was taken aback. Oh, is that so? Is that a problem? He asked. No, not at all. Let us eat. Chen Xiao, unreserved, began to feast heartily. In the school's Western restaurant, the ingredients seemed to come from an unknown source, distinctly different from what Chen Xiao had experienced outside. Nevertheless, he quickly adapted to the role of a student, displaying less selectiveness and enjoying his meal heartily. Tang Cheng, what are you doing here? Lu Xing emerged unexpectedly, confronting him directly. He then turned to Chen Xiao, who allowed you to dine with her. If you continue to bother Tang Cheng, do you believe I want to hit you? Unfazed, Chen Xiao straightened his posture, took a napkin to wipe his mouth, and cast a glance at the nearby lynx, suddenly understanding the situation. Lu Xing slapped Chen Xiao on the shoulder. Didn't I tell you not to speak to me? Are you deaf? Hey, buddy, Lynx approached. Lu Xing was taken aback. Who is your buddy? Who are you? With an impassive expression, Lynx stated, come out with me. Releasing Chen Xiao, Lu Xing arrogantly stared at Lynx. You're with us, huh? Ouch. Just as he was about to curse, Lynx's fingers gripped his scapula tightly. I said to come out with me. Do you understand? All right, just let go. Lynx, disinterested in further words, dragged Lu Xing away by his shoulder. Tang Cheng slowly rose, concern etched on her face. Who is he? Is Lu Xing all right? Chen Xiao continued to eat. I don't know. Who knows whom he has offended? Oh dear, we're all classmates. How can you still eat? Tang Cheng raised an eyebrow. Why wouldn't I eat? I'm enjoying it quite a lot. You. Tang Cheng stamped her foot and hurriedly chased after them. Chen Xiao paid her no mind and continued savoring his meal. Outside the restaurant, the flustered Tang Cheng encountered a bruised Lu Xing and quickly inquired, Lu Xing, are you all right? Having just been beaten, Lu Xing was fuming, shouting, who told you to eat with him? It's all because of you. Tang Cheng felt a pang of guilt. I just thought initially believing Chen Xiao had some connections. She now realized he was merely a subordinate to the bosses. Tipping the balance of her sentiments towards Lu Xing, suppressing his anger, Lu Xing attempted to appear indifferent. Fine, I took a beating, but he is not in any better shape. I suspect he is in cahoots with Chen Xiao. Really? Tang Cheng responded. Whether or not. I'll remember Chen Xiao's name. Rest assured, he won't pass a single one of his public courses. Tang Cheng was taken aback. Lu Xing's influence at school made her feel immensely intimidated. In comparison, Chen Xiao, who merely had acquaintances among some bosses, seemed considerably weaker. Well, it might not be necessary, she stammered. Lu Xing scoffed, turning to leave. He felt that if he didn't go to the hospital soon, he might end up disfigured. Sighing, Tang Chung returned to the second floor, where Chun Xiao had finished his meal and was seated, sipping juice. Upon seeing her return, he inquired, "I'm done eating. Do you still want to eat?" Fuming, Tang Chung retorted, "I'm not eating anymore." Chun Xiao nodded. "Oh, then you should settle the bill. Didn't you say you would treat me?" With a huff, Tang Chung rose and headed towards the bar. Chapter 104. How about coming to my place? After settling the bill, he did not return, but instead headed directly downstairs. Chun Xiao was indifferent. In this lifetime, he had long seen through Tan Cheng's true nature. To say he was sycophantic might be an exaggeration, but it wasn't far from the truth. He picked up a toothpick from a bar and, while casually picking his teeth, staggered back. He had managed to enjoy a meal for free, courtesy of Tan Cheng. Although the ingredients were mediocre, the meal was surprisingly delightful. Upon returning to the dormitory, a bout of gossip was inevitable. Chun Xiao responded to a few inquiries nonchalantly, and no one pressed further. After all, everyone had their own matters to attend to, such as Xiao Ji's gaming or Lu Xian stock investments. Chun Xiao, while smoking, observed Lu Xian from behind. With an initial capital of 5,000 yuan, only 3,000 remained. Sighing involuntarily, he wondered if such endeavors were truly meant for the average person without any exceptional skills. Lu Xian, dissatisfied, exclaimed, "What s with the sighing? Even though I'm at a loss now, I'm not worried at all." "Oh, really?" Chun Xiao was taken aback. "Do you believe you can recover your losses?" Lu Xian wore a confident expression, declaring, "No, I've already secured a part-time job. I can recoup the losses. Why should I worry?" Chun Xiao replied, "Impressive. Who would be more invincible in the stock market than someone like you? Fearless in the face of adversity. Get lost. If I lose, then I lose. It's already done." Chun Xiao didn't mean to mock him entirely. He was genuinely pleased with Lu Xian's mindset. In his previous life, Lu Xian had reached his 30s without even a girlfriend, and his career was a complete disaster. It seemed that next semester, there would be time to take charge of his life. "You fool, I didn't expect you to have such good fortune," Chun Xiao remarked casually. Lu Xian looked at him with an expression of disbelief. "Have you lost your mind?" "Look, the stock you bought has once again encountered bad news," Chun Xiao pointed out. Lu Xian exclaimed, "Oh heavens!" Xiao Ji, without turning around, shouted, "Shut up! I can't even hear the footsteps from across the room." After a while, Lu Xian slumped over the table, pulling at his hair in frustration. Chun Xiao laughed. "Well, you're stuck now. Let us go to Shuel Linyi Yuan to play mahjong." "Forget it. I'm not in the mood. Don't bother me." Within half an hour, the sound of mahjong filled Shin Jiansheng and Wu Ling's small home. Lu Xian, with a cigarette in his mouth, was scratching his foot while shouting, "Damn! I won! Pass me the cigarette!" "Ha ha, yeah, lala!" Observing the exuberant Lu Xian, Chun Xiao couldn't help but reflect, what a true fool he was. After an afternoon of mahjong, Chun Xiao emerged as the biggest winner. Lu Xian, feeling disgruntled, grumbled, "That jerk, whoever wins treats." "Ha ha, all right, I'll treat tonight. Let us go." Wu Ling suggested, "Let us eat at home. I'll cook to save money." Lu Xian chimed in, "Sister Ling, Xiao Zi has been gallivanting outside frequently, with supercars and beauties pursuing him at school. He is not short on cash. Let us feast on him." Wu Ling cast an inquiring glance at Chun Xiao, who smiled. "My son knows his father well. Don't worry, Sister Ling, I'm quite well off lately. See? Let us go, Sister Ling, let us feast on this jerk." Lu Xian encouraged. "All right then," Wu Ling finally agreed. 4 individuals arrived at the barbecue restaurant at the entrance of the community. With a grand gesture, Lu Xian commanded, "Boss, bring us 100 yuan's worth of lamb skewers and 2 boxes of beer." He then cast a provocative glance at Chun Xiao, as if to imply, "You must be feeling the pinch." Chun Xiao chuckled softly, reflecting that to truly feel the sting of heartache from such a meal would require treating the entire city to a feast. As they indulged in their meal, the conversation flowed freely, filled with endless amusing anecdotes from their school days. Among them, Xiao Ji was a fountain of joy, contributing 50% of the merriment at the table. Unbeknownst to them, the 4 friends consumed over 20 bottles of beer. The topics began to drift. Lu Xian inquired, "Ling Jia, after graduation, will you go to Shun Jiansheng's place, or will he come to yours?" Shun Jiansheng replied with a smile, "I'll head to Ling Jia's home to tend to sheep." "Well then, you might as well raise horses. I'll gift you a yurt," Wu Ling retorted. Laughter erupted at the table. "Why think so far ahead? Let's enjoy the moment and drink," Shun Jiansheng urged. Chun Xiao, observing from the side, reflected on how he had never contemplated life after graduation until the night before the campus recruitment fair, when he hastily printed his resume. Now in their second year, most believed that time lingered and college life was lengthy. Thus they felt no urgency to ponder their futures. Little did they realize that when graduation day arrived, they would look back and find those 4 years had flown by in the blink of an eye, filled with many things left undone, forever lost in the passage of time. With a sense of regret and confusion, they would hastily integrate into the melting pot of society. Decades of worldly experience would wear down the youthful exuberance and ambitions of their earlier days, ultimately leading to a life of quiet ordinariness. This, perhaps, is the fate that awaits the majority. Hey, Chen Xiao, you're here too. Suddenly, a beautiful woman bounded in from the entrance, wrapping her arms around Chen Xiao's neck. Lu Xian and the others were instantly jolted awake from their stupor, staring wide-eyed at the stunning beauty. Ahem, this is my friend, Yu Mengqi, Chen Xiao stammered. Mengqi, these are my friends. Lu Xian, Shen Jiansheng, and Wu Ling. Hello, everyone. Yu Mengqi greeted with warmth. Lu Xian and the others, still somewhat dazed, managed to respond. Hi. Hello. Yu Mengqi turned to Chen Xiao, playfully asking, are you staying tonight? Well, you go ahead and enjoy your meal with your friends. I'll settle the bill later. Chen Xiao replied. With a playful peck on his cheek, Yu Mengqi then joyfully went off with her two friends to order. Lu Xian, finally setting down the beer he had been holding for a while, exclaimed, Wow, Xiaozi, you've really done it. Incredible. Come on, tell us what happened. Shen Jianxing urged. His curiosity piqued. Wu Ling echoed. What is going on, Xiaozi? Clearing his throat, Chen Xiao explained the other day. I returned from outside and was approached for my number at the school gate, and then we arranged to meet. The trio clearly found this hard to believe. If you're not willing to share, that's fine. Congratulations on your newfound relationship. They chorused. Hey boss, bring us 2 more lamb kidneys. My brother needs to replenish. Lu Xian shouted. Dude, get lost. Chen Xiao laughed, playfully scolding him. Yu Mengqi, standing nearby, suddenly flushed a deep shade of red. Her two friends teased Mengqi. Why don't we help you replenish too? How rude. You can replenish yourselves. Yu Mengqi playfully retorted. As the meal neared its conclusion, Lu Xian and the others, enticed by the presence of a beautiful lady, decided to open a few more bottles in celebration of Chen Xiao's happiness, continuing their revelry until the ladies had finished their meals. Upon stepping out of the restaurant, the trio promptly abandoned Chen Xiao and hurried away. Yu Mengqi approached Chen Xiao, inquiring if they were all his classmates. Yes, but they perceive me merely as an ordinary classmate, if you know what I mean, he replied. Ah, understood. I shall keep your secret, Yu Mingyao assured him. Mengqi, let us head back to school then. See you tomorrow, Meng Meng said. What? No, come over to my place. We had agreed to go shopping together tomorrow, Chen Xiao suggested, though the two felt a touch of awkwardness, the memory of their last encounter still fresh. Rest assured, I'm not inebriated today, he added, attempting to alleviate the tension. Well, if you say so, the two replied hesitantly. Chen Xiao sighed to himself, realizing he would need to find a larger residence. Otherwise, it would be quite uncomfortable when Yu Mengqi's friends visited. Upon returning home, Meng Meng and Jia promptly retreated to their rooms, closing the door behind them. The following day, as the sun climbed high in the sky, Chen Xiao finally arose and instructed Lei Yong to deliver 20,000 yuan, placing it beneath Yu Mengqi's pillow. He then sent her a text message. This is your pocket money for shopping today. He subsequently departed from Shui Lin Yuan, returning to school for morning exercises. By 9 in the morning, the Lancheng group stocks had reached their peak. Chen Xiao received a reply from Yu Mengqi. Thank you, darling. Mwah. A smile crept across his face as he tucked his phone away. Yu Mengqi had followed him with a clear intention, and he was determined to fulfill her desires. This was merely the beginning. Should she contribute more in the future, her rewards would naturally increase in tandem. Of course, such considerations were for another time, as the future remained uncertain. With no classes scheduled for the afternoon, Chen Xiao received a call from Tang Xiaofei as soon as school was dismissed. Hey, little brother. Let us go. We're attending an auction. Chen Xiao was puzzled. ISNT at the weekend? Today is only Thursday. Ah, but there are events on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The auction is set for Saturday, while Friday and Sunday are reserved for social gatherings. Really? It works that way. Of course. The purpose of the charity auction is to foster connections among young people. One cannot simply attend the auction and leave. Chen Xiao realized the opportunity and considered attending on Saturday instead. Wait, little brother. The auction will take place at the private estate of the Jinning tycoon. You want to get another chance to visit such a place. So let us go. The estate of the richest man in Jinning? Chen Xiao's interest was piqued. He was eager to see what a top-tier tycoon's estate looked like. All right, shall we drive? Let us drive. By the way, don't take the business car. Let us take a sports car instead. We're all young people, after all. Understood. Please send me the address to my phone. Sure, see you soon. After finishing his workout, Chun Xiao had breakfast with Xia Yudi, showered upon returning to the dormitory, and then headed to the company. Standing before a Ferrari and a Lamborghini, he deliberated for a while before ultimately deciding on the Lamborghini, for no particular reason other than spontaneity. For this visit to the Jin Ning Tycoon's estate, Chun Xiao chose to take only Lei Yong and 2 others with him, confident in the estate's own security measures. It is inappropriate to bring too many people, as it may seem like a lack of trust. Nestled in the eastern outskirts of the city, the Zijin Manor serves as the opulent residence of Yin Ziyuan, the wealthiest individual of the Atlantic Capital Group. Once a tranquil and serene estate, today it buzzes with activity. The expansive parking lot is filled with luxury vehicles, with sports cars occupying at least half, while the other half consists of cars belonging to the bodyguards and assistants of the attendees. Chun Xiao, over here. Tang Xiaofei and a few others waved from a distance. They had not departed since their arrival, all waiting for Chun Xiao. The bodyguards swiftly identified their designated areas, ensuring they could observe their employers without interrupting social interactions. Chun Xiao approached with a smile, noting the group had gathered quite well. Zijin Manor is not open year-round. It only welcomes guests once a year, so how could we miss this opportunity? Tang Xiaofei remarked. Chun Xiao glanced around and had to admit the beauty of Zijin Manor. The Gothic architecture was orderly in its distribution, with expansive lawns rolling gracefully. This place was not merely a manor. It also featured a golf course and served as an excellent venue for leisure activities such as boating, swimming, horseback riding, and archery. As it was the first day, only staff were present to welcome guests, and the Yin family had yet to officially appear. Is anyone interested in archery? Zhang Ming suggested. Aside from sports cars, archery was his second passion, earning him the nickname the Archer of the Blossoms. Chun Xiao pondered for a moment and replied, I shall go. Men have an innate affinity for weaponry, and arrows were once regarded as legitimate long-range weapons in ancient military contexts. Then you two go. We shall ride horses, Tang Xiaofei declared. Damn, with Sister May not here, you're already getting reckless, he added, exasperated. Do you think I'm like you? I actually ride real horses. Thus, the group dispersed, and Chun Xiao and Zhang Ming made their way to the archery area, which was not overly crowded. Zhang Ming, an experienced archer, systematically explained the fundamentals to Chun Xiao, correcting him a few times before they commenced practice. As a novice, Chun Xiao could only draw a 30-pound bow, yet he found great joy in the activity. Ah, is that not young Master Chun? A voice called out, and upon turning, he was surprised to find Yin, a rare presence from the Yin family today, mingling among the young elites. Miss Yin, you flatter me, Chun Xiao responded. Yin, with a graceful sway, seemed to brush aside any thoughts of Jin Ning Pharmaceuticals, moving directly to Chun Xiao's side and guiding him in archery. Come, draw the bow and notch the arrow. Allow me to teach you how to shoot, and I assure you, your shot will be flawless. Chun Xiao subtly shifted away, distancing himself from the closeness with Yin. No need, he replied. Yin rolled her eyes playfully. Chun Xiao, let us not be so formal. Surely I am more amiable than Yin Bingqin with her morose demeanor? Chun Xiao cleared his throat. I apologize. I did not intend to compare you and your sister. My focus lies solely in business and financial gain, nothing more. Suddenly, Yin erupted into a delightful laugh, creating quite a stir. Chun Xiao, I simply adore your sincerity. Leaning closer to his ear, she whispered, why not have me as your wife after a divorce? I hold shares in Atlantic Capital Group, and they are no less than those of Yin Bingqin. Moreover, I possess considerable skill in this regard. Chun Xiao felt a wave of embarrassment wash over him. There was no need for such matters that disrupt the sanctity of marriage. He had no interest in them. Yin, with an expression of disbelief, remarked, have you heard of Chow Chow? Every ambitious figure has their peculiar inclinations. Why not give it a try? Zhang Ming, standing nearby, was utterly bewildered. He was beginning to grasp why so many women surrounded Chun Xiao. Was this fellow truly so charming? Chun Xiao, visibly awkward, said, well, I'm quite tired. You all continue. With that, he set down his bow and arrow and turned to leave. Yin watched his retreating figure, her eyes narrowing slightly. It wasn't that she had developed feelings for Chun Xiao. As a second-generation heir, she could have any type of man she desired. It was unlikely that she would truly fall for someone based solely on appearances. Her motivations were twofold. Chun Xiao's capacity for generating wealth was indeed impressive, and it allowed her to compete with Yin Bingqin. Regardless, whatever the attraction, should one of them take a liking to someone, The other would invariably seek to thwart or sabotage the other's possession. In the Purple Gold Manor, there stood a 6-story villa dedicated to accommodating guests. Each room was a lavish suite, exquisitely decorated, with an abundance of staff to cater to the vast majority of guests' daily needs. Chun Xiao returned to the room with Lei Yong and the others, peering out the window to see Yin 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 still in the archery area, with her bow drawn, her back facing Chun Xiao. Her alluring figure was unmistakably revealed. After a brief glance, Chun Xiao turned his gaze away. No matter how splendid her form, it could not surpass that of Shi Yunru. Fortunately, since his rebirth, he found himself surrounded by exceptional women. If his resolve were weaker, the potential troubles could be immense. Suddenly, a series of knocks interrupted his thoughts. Chun Xiao furrowed his brow, realizing that he likely had no visitors in this room. He signaled to Lei Yong, who rose to open the door. Yin Bingqin stood there, smiling. "Dear brother, have you missed your sister?" Chun Xiao waved for Lei Yong to step aside and remarked, "Sister Qin, you are quite the ice queen. Please be mindful of your image." Yin Bingqin responded with a flirtatious smile. "That is merely for the sake of outsiders. You, however, are no outsider." Chun Xiao was at a loss for words. He coughed lightly. To argue that he was an outsider would seem emotionally inept, while to assert that he was not felt somewhat absurd. So he chose to shift the topic. "Sister Qin, did you summon me for a reason?" Yin Bingqin glanced at Lei Yong and the others. They turned their gazes toward Chun Xiao, and he gave a slight nod. The three understood the signal and exited the room, standing guard outside to ensure a swift response should any situation arise. Once it was just the two of them, Yin Bingqin looked at Yin Yi in silhouette and said, "That wretched girl has been vying with me for control over the subsidiary of our family group." Chun Xiao remained silent. He was fully aware of the situation, perhaps due to differing perspectives or the clarity of an observer. He could not comprehend the significance of this rivalry between the two sisters. Instead of squabbling over such matters, wouldn't it be wiser to curry favor with their father, so that when his time came, they could inherit a greater share of the family business? Immediately following Yin Bingqin's remark, his thoughts were completely overturned. My father has become quite muddled, allowing this mother-daughter duo to control 5 subsidiary companies of the group. Chun Xiao was taken aback. Was the division of inheritance beginning already? "And what about you?" "Me?" Yin Bingqin replied. "I only possess 3. Chun Xiao noted that she was indeed her father's biological daughter, with the mother and daughter holding 5 shares together. While he had merely 3, it hardly seemed like he was at a disadvantage. Yin Bingqin continued, "Regardless, I cannot allow the Atlantic Capital Group to fall into their hands." Chun Xiao nodded slightly, yet based on their interactions, he found himself favoring Yin Bingqin more. This preference, however, did not imply a desire to assist. As an observer, he merely hoped for one side to triumph. He had no intention of getting entangled in the relentless disputes of the wealthy elite. Earning a stable income and enjoying life to the fullest was his true focus. Suddenly, Yin Bingqin's demeanor shifted, her expression tinged with a hint of desperation as she pleaded, "Chun Xiao, dear brother, please help your sister. I will give you anything you desire." Chun Xiao sighed. After all the elaborate dialogue, her true intention was finally revealed. "Same old tune. I cannot assist you, nor do I wish to be embroiled in your conflicts," he stated bluntly, hoping to dispel any unrealistic fantasies she might harbor. Yin Bingqin's hopeful gaze lingered for a moment before transforming into a calm demeanor. "Oh, dear brother, you truly are quite composed," she remarked, her eyes shifting downward, making her sisterly suspicion arise. "Could it be that your claims of having many women are merely a facade to conceal some flaw?" Chun Xiao was at a loss for words, inwardly cursing. How dare she question the women in his life? In the end, who among them hadn't begged for mercy? If it weren't for the numerous troubles she brought, he would have gladly shown her the consequences. Well, think what you will. Additionally, let me remind you, we are still partners in the real estate development project, Chun Xiao asserted. Yin Bingqin paused, clearly understanding his implication. In the real estate venture, he held the land, thus possessing the upper hand, a warning for her to remain within her bounds. Don't worry, I remember, Yin Bingqin replied, her intelligence shining through as she smiled. "I wish you a delightful time at the Zijin Manor." With that, she cast a cheerful glance at Chun Xiao, gracefully departing the room with her long, fair legs swaying elegantly. Phew! After Yin Bingqin left, Chun Xiao exhaled deeply. In his rebirth, he had grown accustomed to resolving most issues with money, a method that was both simple and efficient. Yin Bingqin, however, was clearly a woman he could not manage with idle funds alone. Thus, he chose to keep his distance to avoid being caught in a dilemma. From his superficial understanding of the wealthy, he recognized that these individuals were capable of anything. Do not be deceived by Yin Bingqin's sweet words. She may have initially feigned indifference, yet it is conceivable that the women around her will gradually vanish, leaving her to exert control over him, reducing him to nothing more than a mere tool for generating wealth. The thought sent a shiver down Chun Zhao's spine, further solidifying his resolve to distance himself from the troubles of the Yin family. Earning money is acceptable. Everything else is off the table. Chapter 107. An unfortunate encounter with Zhang Ting. Before long, Tang Xiaofei and the others sought out Qin Xiao. Upon entering, Zhang Ming exclaimed in astonishment, "Xiao Ge, impressive. We just saw the female, Yin Wang, enter your room." Qin Xiao coughed. "We were discussing business matters." "What? Business matters?" Tang Xiaofei lamented. "Brother, if all else fails, just take her in and save us from this misery." Qin Xiao was at a loss for words, replying, No, I lack such capabilities." Sighing, Xiong Xiao remarked, "Xiao Gu, perhaps apart from you, everyone else is akin to a meat bun thrown to a dog, gone without a trace. Indeed, throughout my life, I have lost count of the number of boys who have ended up in the hospital due to Yin Bingqin," Tang Xiaofei reflected. Qin Xiao interjected, "Hold on. We are gossiping about Yin Bingqin. If she finds out, you all might be in grave danger." The group fell silent, then collectively shuddered. Goodness, she wouldn't have planted listening devices in this room, would she? Tang Xiaofei asked, suspicion creeping into his voice. "It's unlikely," Xiong Xiao replied, though uncertain. Zhang Ming reassured, "Rest assured, she wouldn't do that. The Yin family still values their reputation." After contemplating, he added, "But Yin Bingqin herself may not be as concerned." Feeling emboldened, he continued, "Let me share a rather amusing story. Back in middle school, I secretly dubbed her the Ruthless Exterminator, and the name spread. She remains blissfully unaware to this day. Ha ha ha." The group exchanged glances, their expressions stiffening. "What's wrong with you all? There's no listening device here. What are you afraid of?" A cold, menacing voice echoed from behind him. "There may be no listening device, but this room does have a door." Zhang Ming jumped, his face paling instantly. Qin Jia, please let me explain." Yin Bingqin, her face frosted with anger, seized his shoulder, gritting her teeth as she said, "Very well. Come with me. I shall hear your explanation." "Ah, it hurts, it hurts," he cried out. Qin Xiao and the others stood rigidly, fear etched on their faces. Fortunately, she had arrived late and had only overheard Zhang Ming's complaints. Otherwise, they would all have faced dire consequences. In a short while, Zhang Ming's anguished screams echoed from the adjacent room. "Ah, help, Mom." The group exchanged glances, their faces filled with trepidation. After several minutes, the screams ceased. And Yin Bingqin emerged from the room, casually brushing off her hands as she said, "Let us go eat." Once she departed, Zhang Ming emerged, wiping away tears. The others were bewildered, for he appeared entirely unscathed. "Mengzi, you seem fine. Why the ruckus?" "Exactly. Why the dramatic outcry? Goodness, I thought you had suffered immensely." "Shut it," Zhang Ming retorted, clutching his shirt tightly, causing everyone to collectively gasp in shock. Due to the numerous bruises and contusions adorning his waist, there were at least 20 or 30 marks. Is he truly unscathed? I was nearly throttled to death by her. And yet, they claim the auction saved me. Had it not been for the fear that I might be unable to face others, I feel I would have been confined to a hospital bed for a minimum of 3 months. The banquet was held on the estate's lawn, taking the form of a buffet, albeit one that was slightly more opulent than the typical. For instance, a whole row of 10-pound king crabs was displayed, and an Australian T-Rex was artfully arranged to resemble a colossal sunflower. Furthermore, a variety of exquisite ingredients were showcased, including matsutake mushrooms, bluefin tuna, wagyu beef, and black caviar, merging Eastern and Western culinary traditions. Regardless of one's palate, satisfaction was assured. Amidst the dining elite stood a number of stunning women clad in evening gowns, their makeup meticulously applied. They were there to attend to the needs of the guests. Of course, on the surface, they were merely serving at the banquet. The true nature of their roles remained rather obscure to the general public. Qin Xiao and his companions wandered along the buffet, seeking their preferred dishes. "Xiao Ge, this one is excellent. Abalone sashimi, highly nutritious." Qin Xiao replied, "Thank you, but I am naturally robust and require no supplementation." Zhang Ming scoffed, "How could anyone rival my strength? If you don't believe me, ask Fei Ge. I can start in half an hour." Qin Xiao's eyes widened as he instinctively distanced himself. "Are you two that familiar with one another?" Tang Xiaofei kicked him lightly. "Shut it. Don't babble nonsense. One might think I have something to do with you." This fool, every time we go out to have fun, insists on boasting. Who knows if he truly finished in half an hour or merely dawdled for 25 before commencing? Come on, you all don't know me? Zhang Meng exclaimed, to which his companions shook their heads in bewilderment. Xiong Chao remarked, all I know is that you are quite fast. Zhang Meng, feeling somewhat disheartened, retorted, that was on a racetrack. Amidst their playful banter, they completed their exploration of the first buffet table. Just as they were about to move to the second, Chen Xiao suddenly halted. The others paused as well, each wearing a slightly perplexed expression. Beside the buffet stood a woman. With a smile, Chen Xiao remarked, I hadn't even sought you out. Yet here we are again, truly a twist of fate. Zhang Ting, observing Chen Xiao among the elite, instantly recalled the unpleasant encounter outside the gymnasium. Her mind momentarily faltered. Aren't you a student? Chen Xiao replied with a grin. Of course I am a student, but who decrees that students cannot attend auction? Conversely, wouldn't it be somewhat inappropriate for you, as a student, to be involved in this? You're talking nonsense. I am the auction's host, Zhang Ting declared. Oh, the auction's host? Chen Xiao then glanced at Tang Xiaofei and the others, noticing their expressions of surprise. Tang Xiaofei chuckled. Indeed, how small the world is. When you collided with someone and hurled insults at the gym's entrance that day, did you ever consider that one day you might encounter a remark that could prevent you from securing another hosting opportunity at Jining? Seizing the moment of these few sentences, Zhang Ting quickly realized that the man before her was indeed a member of the second generation, and a core figure among them at that. Recalling the incident when she had hastily pursued Wei Cheng and accidentally collided with him, she felt a sudden surge of trepidation. She intended to utter something, yet when the words reached her lips, they evaporated into silence. At that moment, she had already backed herself into a corner, and now, she was utterly at a loss as to how to ease the tension. Chen Xiao gazed at her with an indifferent demeanor. Yet Zhang Ting felt an immense pressure bearing down upon her. Tang Xiaofei and others also tacitly refrained from speaking further. The atmosphere, once light-hearted and jovial, instantly shifted to one of palpable tension. Under the scrutinizing gaze of someone who could influence her future, Zhang Ting felt as if her destiny was firmly grasped in his hands. Just then, Yin Bingqin approached and remarked, You lot are here to tease a young lady in my presence? Tang Xiaofei and the others flinched, hastily explaining, Qin, Sister Qin, no, it's not what you think. Just look at who she is. Yin Bingqin stepped closer, appraising Zhang Ting from head to toe, momentarily lost in thought. Why does she seem so familiar? Yin Bingqin felt as if she had encountered her before, though a thorough search through a circle of friends, business partners, and rivals yielded no results. Chen Xiao, exasperated, pointed out outside the concert venue. Upon hearing this, Yin Bingqin immediately recalled, oh, right, the peculiar one who offended Chen Xiao outside the stadium. What are you doing at my family's banquet? Who invited you? Zhang Ting, bewildered, responded, This manor belongs to your family? I heard it belonged to the wealthiest family in Jining. At that moment, an assistant hurried over, bending slightly to address her. Ms. Yin, this is the host arranged by our entertainment group's subsidiary agency. Yin Bingqin nodded slightly, her tone turning cold. Get the head of the agency over here immediately. Understood. Ms. Yin. Within 5 minutes, a portly man, sweating profusely, rushed over from a distance. Upon hearing he was to meet Yin Bingqin, Wang Ming, who had navigated the social scene for 20 years, felt a wave of anxiety wash over him. Though he was the head of a subsidiary agency, he was merely a small fish in the vast ocean of the Panhai Entertainment Group. There were dozens of individuals at his level within the group. Meeting Yin Bingqin was a daunting task, and even the chairman of the Panhai Entertainment Group had to tread carefully around her. Wang Ming felt that as a minor figure, he could only exert a semblance of authority among ordinary people. But when it came to a true powerhouse like Yin Bingqin, he dared not offend her. A single frown from her could spell disaster for his career and financial prospects. Although it was their first encounter, the harsh legends about her had long since circulated within the group. Why you called for me, Ms. Yin? Wang Ming stood 2 meters away, bowing and smiling nervously, his heart fluttering with unease. In the presence of this woman, the usually high and mighty manager of the agency, Zhang Ting, was utterly convinced of her subservience. It is noteworthy that this rotund figure wields significant influence over the majority of car models and hospitality services at Jining. To Zhang Ting, he was indeed a person of considerable stature. With a mere utterance, she felt as though she would be unable to secure any hosting gigs in this city ever again. At that moment, she comprehended the immense power Chen Xiao possessed, recognizing the insurmountable chasm that lay between them. Simultaneously, she regretted her confrontation with such a formidable individual. It was a reckless endeavor that could only bring about her own downfall. To him, a mere thought could translate into a devastating blow to her standing. At this juncture, Zhang Ting's awareness of their disparity was more acute than even Chun Zhao's. Perhaps this is akin to viewing everything as insignificant from the summit, while from the base, all appears monumental. Yin Bingxin cast a glance at Wang Ming, barely aware of his name. "You're the host we sought, correct?" Wang Ming shivered, acutely aware that Zhang Ting was hardly qualified to preside over such a prestigious event. However, with the higher-ups having specifically requested her presence, he dared not contradict them, stating, "Ms. Yin, it was arranged by my superiors. She is the champion of the Jining University campus hosting competition. If you're dissatisfied, I can replace her immediately." Zhang Ting had anticipated this outcome, yet a sense of being cast aside still lingered in her heart. To Wang Ming's astonishment, the esteemed Yin Bingxin directed her inquiring gaze toward the young man beside her. Chun Xiao, sensing her desire for him to take the lead, smiled slightly and remarked, "I have no intention of being adversarial. We are all human, and it is natural to feel discomfort when wronged. However, the fault lies with you, and you must bear the consequences of your actions. Upon returning to school, seize an opportunity to publicly apologize and reflect. As long as I am satisfied, we can consider this matter resolved." Zhang Ting found herself with no room for negotiation. Upon hearing Chun Zhao's words, she nodded in agreement. "All right, I apologize, Mr. Chun. I hope you can overlook my transgressions." Chun Xiao frowned slightly, gesturing for her to refrain from excessive humility. "There is no need for further words. Simply accept the appropriate consequences for your actions." Both Wang Ming and Zhang Ting exhaled in relief. "Yes, Mr. Chun." Zhang Ting, previously arrogant, was now a transformed individual. Her heart, which had been in her throat, had yet to settle. Once the matter was resolved, Yin Bingxin waved her hand at Wang Ming. "You may leave. I wish to speak with this young lady for a moment." Wang Ming, feeling a sense of relief, noticed that Zhang Ting's heart, which had briefly calmed, began to race again. Chun Xiao paused momentarily, but chose not to elaborate further. He had reached an understanding with Zhang Ting. The ensuing conversation would be between Yin Bingxin and her, which he preferred not to meddle in, as it did not concern him. After exchanging pleasantries with a few others, Yin Bingxin led the anxious Zhang Ting away. Watching them depart, Zhang Ming clutched his waist and exclaimed, TSK, could it be that Sister Qin is changing her preferences?" Tang Xiaofei playfully jabbed him in the side. "Ouch, that hurts." Tang Xiaofei retorted, "Oh, so you know pain after all?" As soon as Qin left, you began to gossip. "If you wish for your demise, do not drag us down with you." Zhang Ming responded, "Well, that's that. Let be as it may. Cool, let's dine over there." In an instant, they all forgot the earlier incident and resumed their banter, teasing Zhang Ming. Meanwhile, Yin Bingxin, accompanied by Zhang Ting, entered a standalone Gothic villa on one side of the estate, escorted by bodyguards. Upon entering the luxuriously adorned living room, Yin Bingxin comfortably sank into the sofa, her long, slender legs elegantly crossed, exuding charm and grace. Zhang Ting stood nearby, feeling at a loss for where to place her hands and feet. Yin Bingxin reclined against the back of the sofa, gazing quietly at the magnificent crystal chandelier, lost in thought for a moment. Zhang Ting's presence at the Zijin Manor was orchestrated by Yin Bingxin. Their earlier exchange had merely been a performance. "Did you feel helpless today?" Yin Bingxin inquired. Zhang Ting, startled by the sudden question, shivered and took several seconds to respond, finally nodding earnestly. "Do you dislike this feeling?" Yin Bingxin pressed further. Zhang Ting shook her head. "Puffed." Yin Bingxin chuckled. "No one is a masochist. Who wouldn't dislike it? Let me rephrase my question. Do you wish to feel valued, to attach yourself to someone influential, to have a patron?" Zhang Ting's eyes gradually sparkled with excitement. After all, this was a connection to the wealthiest family in Jining. She nodded rapidly. I wanna." "Excellent. Have a seat." Yin Bingxin gestured towards the sofa across from her. Zhang Ting, hesitant to defy her, awkwardly sat down, waiting in silence for what was to come. Yin Bingxin leaned slightly forward, fixing her gaze on her, and said earnestly, "You need to secure Chun Xiao tonight. That will give you value." "Why is Yin Bingxin so formidable?" Zhang Ting pondered. "What? Are you afraid?" Yin Bingxin asked. Zhang Ting fiddled with the hem of her clothing. It was not a matter of courage, but rather one of capability. After today's ordeal, despite her reputation as the object of many a nerd's affection at Jining University, she lacked confidence in her ability to win over Chen Xiao. After all, he was not just a mere nerd. No, it's not that. I fear he might look down on me. Yin Bingqin found her timid demeanor somewhat amusing. Do not concern yourself with status. Any normal man would not dismiss you. Zhang Yuan, take her to meet my makeup artist and image consultant. By tonight, I want her to be the most alluring woman in Jinning. Yes, Mississippi. Once Zhang Ting departed, Yin Bingqin gazed at the doubled stock price of Jinning Pharmaceuticals, lost in contemplation. Chen Xiao, are you truly oblivious? Or can you really judge so astutely? After a moment's reflection, Yin Bingqin rose and proceeded towards the banquet. Upon her arrival, Tang Xiaofei and the others immediately ceased their lewd remarks, sitting up straight, refraining from any indiscreet comments. Yin Bingqin grasped a bottle of wine, declaring, "Come, let us drink. Tonight we shall not return sober." The crowd responded, "She has called for drinks. Who would dare refuse?" Chen Xiao might. Yet Yin Bingqin had her own methods to contend with him. "Let us raise a glass to our major shareholder, Mr. Chen." As Yin Bingqin spoke, Tang Xiaofei and a few others eagerly joined in. After being bombarded for over an hour, Chen Xiao felt his head growing increasingly heavy. However, the atmosphere at the scene had already escalated. Zhang Meng stepped onto a chair, reopened a bottle of liquor, and shouted at Chen Xiao, "Come on. Whoever doesn't drink to the point of oblivion today can consider themselves resurrected tomorrow." Smack! Yin Bingqin slapped him on the back of the head, exclaiming, "Enough! This is where it ends for today. No one is allowed to drink anymore. Disperse." The crowd grumbled, "Damn it, whether we drink or not, it's still you. Can't you ease off a bit? At least give us some time to adjust." Yet, Yin Bingqin was always so domineering in her decisions that even though Zhang Meng and the others were slightly tipsy, they understood it was best to comply with her wishes. Zhang Meng, still standing on the chair, gave an awkward smile, set down the bottle, and sat back down. Chen Xiao sighed inwardly. Being around this woman was bound to lead to trouble. Yin Bingqin cast a warning glance at a few of them before turning to leave. Chen Xiao shrugged. Now that his security team had arrived and he no longer needed to seek favors from Yin Bingqin, he felt emboldened. "Come on, let us keep drinking. What is there to be afraid of?" But after he spoke, Tang Xiaofei and the others all shook their heads in unison. Chen Xiao placed the bottle back on the table. "What is wrong with you all? Are you seriously intimidated by a woman?" Tang Xiaofei sighed. "It's our fault for not working hard in our youth. Now it's too late to regret." "Chen Xiao, what is going on?" Tang Xiaofei continued. "With someone like Sister Qin, it's only natural. Back in school, while we were out playing, she was practicing martial arts. After we entered college, we were busy chasing girls, while she was busy achieving success. Now, she is achieving great heights, having taken over the family's publicly traded company. We squandered our time, while she wasted not a moment." Chen Xiao was taken aback. Indeed, those who excelled did not do so without reason. Yin Bingqin had sacrificed her entire childhood and youth. However, his focus was not on that. "Are you saying Yin Bingqin has never been in a relationship?" The others shook their heads again. Who would dare to pursue her? Back in middle school, she was the city's youth martial arts champion. Chen Xiao remarked, "Impressive, truly impressive. Of course. Do you think ordinary people would be so afraid? Sister Qin is genuinely formidable." Tang Xiaofei responded. Understanding the source of their fear, Chen Xiao decided not to press them further. "All right then, let us call it a day." Tang Xiaofei stood up and asked, "All right, brother, are we playing golf tomorrow?" Chen Xiao chuckled. "I've never played before. I wouldn't know how." Zhang Meng reassured him. "No worries, just swing the club randomly." Returning to his room, Chen Xiao smoked a cigarette while gazing out at a throng of handsome men and beautiful women dancing wildly. The girls who made it to this place understood one thing. As long as they could secure any second-generation heir, they could at least make a tidy profit. Among skilled individuals, some even managed to seize opportunities to rise in status. Of course, such circumstances were rare, as there were not many fools among the second-generation heirs. After a brief period of contemplation, Chen Zhao's lips curled into a slight smile as he extinguished his cigarette. Once this elusive circle was something he yearned for, yet now it evoked a sense of disdain within him. In the stillness of the night, his thoughts drifted more towards returning to his hometown. In his previous life, following graduation, Chen Xiao had only managed to return home once a year, and even then, he would only linger for a week at most. In subsequent years, it often took 2 or 3 years before he could return again. His hometown had become akin to a way station, merely a fleeting stop rather than a place of frequent respite. His parents, having toiled throughout their lives, were now graying at the temples, their sole desire being for their child to lead a good life. To this end, they concealed their longing deeply, hesitant to intrude upon his life too often. At times, the multitude of sentiments swirling within him would ultimately dissolve into the simple phrase of "I've been well" during a phone call. Now, with wealth in his possession, Chun Xiao aspired to provide his parents with a comfortable life. Yet, he found himself overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of his fortune, uncertain how to reveal it to them. After completing a significant deal with the Lan Chung Group, his finances were poised to reach unprecedented heights, potentially soaring to 30 or 40 billion. Such an astronomical sum was unfathomable for parents who had never managed to save more than 100,000 in their lifetime. He could hardly fathom how his mother, who earned a mere 1,500 yuan a month working in the county, would react upon discovering her son possessed billions. A self-deprecating smile crossed Chun Zhao's face as he considered the irony of lamenting an excess of wealth. Still, he reasoned that such troubles were preferable in abundance. With a sigh, he resolved to take things one step at a time. Having made up his mind, Chun Xiao picked up the phone and dialed Su Tang. "Hello, Su Tang. The holiday is approaching at the end of the month. I plan to return home. Please make the necessary arrangements." "Understood, boss. We'll be by plane?" Chun Xiao pondered for a moment. In this era, high-speed trains were not as prevalent as in his previous life, making airplanes the quickest and most convenient mode of transport. A train journey home would take over 20 hours. "Yes, that works. Additionally, please book 4 round-trip tickets." Su Tang paused momentarily. "Are those for Miss Sun, Miss Meng, Miss Xia, and Miss Yu?" "Yes, indeed. For the other 3, you can simply state that it's a company benefit that can be reimbursed." "Got it, boss." Su Tang meticulously noted the details, well acquainted with the dynamics surrounding the women in her boss's life, including their personalities, preferences, and relationships with him. Once the arrangements were complete, Chun Xiao ended the call, confident that Su Tang would handle the logistics adeptly. Glancing at the time, he noted it was past 10 o'clock. Having just consumed alcohol, he deemed it unsuitable to exercise and decided to take a shower before retiring for the night. However, just as he was about to head to the bathroom, a sudden knock at the door halted his steps. Chapter 110. After all, it's just that way. Ray Yong cast a questioning glance at him, to which Chun Xiao nodded in affirmation, prompting someone to answer the door. Upon opening it, he was greeted by a strikingly elegant and alluring woman. Chun Xiao was momentarily taken aback. "Are you Zhang Ting?" he inquired uncertainly, as her transformation was indeed remarkable. In the past, Zhang Ting's hosting attire seemed somewhat unprofessional. However, upon closer inspection now, Chun Xiao mistook her for a renowned television presenter. Zhang Ting nodded gracefully, her swan-like neck exuding elegance. "Is there something you need?" Chun Xiao inquired. Zhang Ting's gaze swiftly flitted over Lei Yong and his companions, revealing a mix of shyness and apprehension. Observing the alluring Zhang Ting, Chun Xiao, in a state of mild inebriation, suddenly felt invigorated. The intent behind her late-night appearance was unmistakable, and Chun Xiao pondered whether to grant her this opportunity. After a prolonged silence, he addressed Lei Yong. "You and your companions should take your leave to the adjacent room." With keen, hawk-like eyes, Lei Yong scrutinized Zhang Ting before nodding slightly to Chun Xiao. "Yes, boss." He discreetly gestured to his wrist. Chun Xiao acknowledged him, as he was aware that a one-touch alarm was situated on his wrist. Pressing it would immediately alert Lei Yong. Once the door closed behind them, leaving only Zhang Ting and Chun Xiao, the atmosphere shifted palpably. Despite having hosted numerous shows and faced countless audiences with composure, Zhang Ting felt an unusual nervousness in the presence of the man reclining casually on the sofa. "It was Yan Bingqin who sent you, wasn't it?" Chun Xiao asked casually. Zhang Ting shivered, her eyes wide with surprise. Aye. Chun Xiao smiled reassuringly. "Do not be anxious. Your attire is worth tens of thousands. The most plausible possibility is that it was indeed Yan Bingqin's doing. Now, tell me, what is your purpose here?" Zhang Ting quickly shook her head. No. She just asked me to." She hesitated, unsure of how to continue. Chun Xiao chuckled. "All right then, just do as Yan Bingqin instructed." Zhang Ting initially breathed a sigh of relief, grateful that Chun Xiao had not dismissed her. However, she soon found herself at a loss. "How am I supposed to do that? Is there a problem?" Chun Xiao asked, noticing her in action. Zhang Ting's delicate face flushed crimson, her exquisite evening gown accentuating her enchanting figure like a dreamlike mermaid. Particularly, the button at her neckline seemed to bear immense pressure. "You haven't done this before?" Chun Xiao asked in surprise. Zhang Ting shyly nodded. Chun Xiao was astonished. Had she never dated anyone? "I have, but it was limited to holding hands," she confessed earnestly. Realizing she was a perceptive young woman who understood the value of preserving her most precious treasures for the most significant moments, Chun Xiao resignedly stood up. He had expected to simply enjoy the benefits, only to discover that she was not a queen, but rather a novice. The next morning, at 7 o'clock, Chun Xiao awoke from a soft slumber. Extricating himself from Zhang Ting's delicate embrace, he donned athletic attire and stepped out alone. The majority of the second-generation residents of the Purple Gold Manor were still ensconced in sweet dreams after a night of revelry. The manor's morning was exceptionally tranquil, punctuated only by a few gardeners tending to the flora and maintaining the lawns. The freshly watered lawn, illuminated by the morning sun, radiates vitality. Chun Xiao and Lei Yong jog rhythmically along the golf path, one following the other. The air in the countryside is particularly refreshing, imbued with a sweet fragrance tinged with earthy notes. A deep breath fills one with a sense of ease. The undulating terrain poses a challenge to physical endurance. Running here is far more arduous than on a flat rubber track. After merely 3 or 4 kilometers, beads of sweat appear on Chun Xiao's forehead. "Good morning," he greets. Beside him, Yin Bingqin, clad in athletic wear, showcases her flawless figure. Chun Xiao slows his pace. "Good morning. Do you also have a habit of running?" "I only run occasionally when I return to the estate." "I heard you often do," she replies. Chun Xiao nods. "Yes, it's for fitness." With a knowing smile, Yin Bingqin inquires, "Did you enjoy yourself last night?" Chun Xiao gradually comes to a halt, while Lei Yong instinctively distances himself, keeping a watchful eye on Yin Bingqin. He senses that although she operates on a different level, she could still pose a threat to his boss. "Speak your mind. What is your true intention behind all this effort?" Chun Xiao asks. With a light, melodic laugh, Yin Bingqin responds, "If I had an ulterior motive, would I be so overt about it? Enjoy your beauty without worry. I merely wish to prove that as long as you marry me, I will never interfere in your private life. Moreover, I will assist you in finding suitable partners like Zhang Ting." "Surely you jest, Bingqin. The situation with Jinning Pharmaceuticals is merely a coincidence. You need not make such sacrifices on my behalf." Yin Bingqin smiles. "It's hardly a sacrifice. After all, isn't marriage merely a transaction? Rather than choosing a frivolous second-generation heir who might cause chaos post-marriage, I prefer to select someone I find agreeable and capable, and help him find women who would pique my interest." Chun Xiao contemplates, realizing that while Yin Bingqin hails from a prestigious background that elicits envy, she also bears her share of burdens. Yet, despite her plight, marriage seems an impossibility. Flattering words hold no weight. Without marriage, Chun Xiao remains unclaimed by anyone. Once wed, he would inevitably face immense societal scrutiny. Take, for instance, the principal, who perceives the world with unparalleled clarity. As for beauty, Yin Bingqin is a rose, stunning beyond compare, yet undeniably a thorny one, difficult to approach, with the potential for painful consequences. Chun Xiao could easily choose exquisite blooms that are both beautiful and devoid of thorns. "The value you see in me is your concern, not mine." "Apologies, Bingqin, but I must continue my run." With that, Chun Xiao strides away, resuming his pace. Lei Yong, having finished his conversation with the boss, follows suit. Yin Bingqin gazes at his retreating figure, lost in thought, ultimately letting out a deep sigh, feeling an unexpected sense of defeat. For the first time, she begins to doubt her allure. In Jinning, is the first instance she has been treated this way by her peers. Naturally, her mood sours. Who could she vent her frustrations on? Just then, Tang Xiaofei, unusually awake this early, waves enthusiastically from afar, greeting Yin Bingqin. "Good morning, Qin." As he spoke halfway, he noticed that Yin Bingqin's expression was somewhat off. "You look truly beautiful today." Yin Bingqin turned her head, coldly responding, "Why did you step onto the lawn with your left foot?" Tang Xiaofei. His smile vanished in an instant as he thought to himself that things were going awry. Had he unwittingly walked into a trap? The morning at Zijing Mountain Villa saw many awakened by Tang Xiaofei's wails. Peering through the windows, the onlookers couldn't help but murmur among themselves, expressing their astonishment. How tragic! Tang Xiaofei never learns his lesson. Indeed, having grown up together, they were all too familiar with the number of times he had been beaten. Alas, we are all acquainted with the sting of being struck. Do you not understand? Sometimes, out of the blue, one might receive a severe beating. At the Zijing Manor, Chun Xiao ignored the commotion beside him and jogged around the small lake within the golf course twice before being stopped by someone. Chun Xiao, the eldest